Okay, good evening, everyone.
Anyway,
Yeah, so we will start the class by having a small recap. I taught you regarding the utility and total utility, marginal utility. What do you mean by total utility? Abhilash?
total utility is the utility derived from a commodity after
Hmm.
consumption.
After consumption. Total utility, what you derive from the commodity after all units of consumption. Okay. What do you mean by marginal utility? Rahul, can you tell? Marginal utility
Major utility is the change in total utility
due to
due to consumption
of additional
of
unit of
unit of
commodity. That is what you mean by marginal utility. Okay. Now I told you what do you mean by law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay. What is that law of diminishing marginal utility? Kevin, can you tell? Law of diminishing marginal utility. You were there in the previous class, Kevin? Hmm? Yes or no? Brown bag. Just 1 minute. You know, Kevin?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Okay.
consuming each additional unit of a commodity declines as its consumption of
What will
other.
decline?
Ma'am, the utils that we
Utility
gain.
will be declining
Ma'am,
af- as you go
as
on.
we keep on consuming the item.
Okay. I told you there is a relation between total utility and marginal utility. What is that relation? Vinay, can you tell what kind of relation it has? As we consume, what happens to total utility? What happens to marginal utility? Positive, negative relation. Did I tell that? No?
Ma'am, it's the increasing and decreasing,
Yeah,
and when
increase
it
and decrease. As you go on consuming, total utility will be
increasing,
increasing. So it has a what kind of relation? Positive relation. One increasing, the other one is also increasing. Okay. What about the other one, marginal utility? What happens to that? Marginal utility, as we consume more, it is increasing or decreasing?
decreasing.
It is decreasing. So it has a negative relation. Okay. Now let me share the screen. Just 1 minute. Okay. Yes. So marginal law of diminishing marginal utility states that marginal utility, as we consume more and more items, what happens to the marginal utility? That declines as its consumption increases. At the same time, one more thing we have to keep it in our mind. What is that? Consumption of other commodities are constant. We are not consuming anything at that time. We are consuming only one commodity, and as you go on consuming, marginal utility decreases. That is what you mean by law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay. Now mu becomes zero at a level when tu remains constant, in the sense as you get like 10, 6, 4, 4. This is the area where the total utility is becoming constant. That time what happens? The marginal utility is becoming zero. And when TU starts falling, again, when TU starts falling, for example, from that 4, if it is reducing to 2 or something like that, what happens here? It becomes, it starts becoming negative here. Now, the point of satiety, what do you mean by point of satiety? Anyone? Which point we call it as point of satiety?
Mu starts becoming negative.
Is it mu becomes negative?
when TU becomes constant and MU starts becoming negative.
MU, when TU is constant, MU becomes what?
Zero.
Zero. That point we call it as point of satiety. Beyond that level, people, they won't prefer to consume, or they don't want to take more and more of that particular commodity. Okay, so this is a point related to law of diminishing marginal utility. Now, next one, we are going to see law of demand. Law of demand, in the sense, it is the same, like it works same like law of diminishing marginal utility. When we say law of demand, we are mainly keeping into consideration the price of the commodity. Okay, we are taking into consideration mainly the price, and we'll see cardinal utility analysis is the one which we are using to find out the demand curve for a commodity. In the sense, cardinal utility, in the sense, what? What do you mean by cardinal utility? What is that? What do you mean by cardinal utility?
Measuring a utility in
Utils
utils.
in numbers. Okay, so we are using the cardinal utility, or we are measuring the utility in numbers. So when we are measuring that numbers, that utility analysis only we are taking to make the, or to find out the demand curve. Now, quantity of a consumer that a consumer is willing to buy and is able to afford at a given prices of particular goods and income of the consumer, that is considered as a demand for that commodity. So what do you mean by demand for a commodity? In simple term, what do you mean by demand for a commodity? Don't look at that definition. What do you mean by demand for a commodity? Nestle, can you tell? What do you mean by demand for a commodity? Nestle. Can you tell? No. Okay, Pranav, can you tell? What do you mean by demand for a commodity?
What the people needs the
Ah.
most.
What people they want to buy? That is what you are telling.
Yes.
Okay, so here in economics, when we say demand, what the people wants to buy, just buying, I want this, will not be considered as a demand. When I want to buy, I should have the capacity to buy, or I should have particular income to buy that particular commodity. When with that only we call that wish as a demand, or that desire as a demand. So when we are buying, two things we have to take care. One is the income of the consumer. That person should have money with that money for buying. Another one thing, that at a given price, okay, this is the price of that particular commodity. At that price, I am ready to buy and buying. That we call it as demand here. So what do you mean by demand here? The quantity of a commodity split up when you are studying, the quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing to buy. He is willing to buy, at the same time he is able to afford it. What he is able to afford, what is the given price of that particular good, and income of the consumer. That particular income should be there at a given price. He is ready to buy. That we call it as demand for that particular commodity. Okay. Now, Krishna Kanti, can you read out the definition of demand? Can you read out the definition of demand? First.
The third point,
What is it?
given.
No. The second point, demand for that commodity, is called a demand for that commodity. What is that?
The quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing to buy and is able to afford given prices of goods and income of the consumer is called
Given in
demand
the
for
sense that at a given prices of goods and income of consumer, that person should be able to buy because he has that income, and the given prices are there in the market. At that he is able to afford. Okay, that is called, we call it as demand for that particular commodity. Now, demand for a commodity, again put it in another word, apart from the price of that commodity. I told that whenever we demand anything, it is influenced by price. Now, other than price, there are some more things we have to take into account. Prices of other goods. For example, prices of other goods in the sense, prices of substitutes. Any idea what do you mean by substitute? What do you mean by substitute?
Alternative?
Alternative in the sense, can you tell one example?
Ma'am, like different brands.
Different brands of one product. Okay, can you say something?
Tea powder.
What is that? Tea powder. Okay, the two brands you tell, please.
Red label
Okay,
and
Red Label and
Kannan Devan.
okay, Kannan Devan. So here, when I demand Kannan Devan, it always depends upon the price of Red Label also, because when the price is very less, if the price is becoming very less for Red Label, what will happen? What will
People prefer
happen? The
red
people
label.
may prefer Red Label instead of buying Kannan Devan. Okay, so that is what they have given. Whenever there is a demand for a commodity, apart from the price of a commodity itself, one factor is what? Price of a commodity depends upon the demand. At the same time, it depends on various other factors. What are those factors? Prices of other commodities, income of the consumer, how much income the person is having, and what are the taste and preference of the consumers. All these things are influenced when we are seeing the demand, or all these factors, you can see that they influence the demand curve of a person. Okay, now before that, I want you to do one problem, not exactly like a problem. I will give you total utility. You have to find out marginal utility of that particular commodity. Okay, so here you can see the total utility what I'm giving. I'm not able to reach here. Okay, so here I'll be writing, or I will add one. Yes. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units, and that total utility somewhat 20, 36, then 46, 50, then 50, then you can see it is 44, then marginal utility. Find out the marginal utility. How can you find out the marginal utility? How are you getting marginal utility? When you consume first unit, it is 20, second unit, it is 36, third unit, 46, fourth unit, 50, fifth unit, 50, sixth unit, 46. I will ask one person, okay? What is the marginal utility for the yes. Got it? Abhilash, can you tell the first marginal utility how much it will be?
20.
It is 20. Okay. Pranav, second one. Second unit when you consume, how much it will be?
16.
16. Okay. Rahul?
I didn't do it. I'm doing.
Okay. Amal, did you finish? Third one? I didn't hear.
43.
This third one? Okay, let me ask another person. Roseanne?
10.
Yes, 10. Next one. Bazuri, can you tell? Basuri, can you tell?
Am I didn't finish?
Hmm? What is the marginal utility for the fourth unit? Anish, do you know?
Ma'am, 4.
It is 4. Okay. Pavitra? Pavitra, just now she reached. Okay, just 1 minute. Akshay, can you tell? Fifth unit?
0.
0. Kevin, sixth unit?
-4.
-4. Okay. Now, where is the point of satiety? Where is the point of satiety? Where can we find the
Fifth
point of
unit.
satiety? Where?
5th unit.
Fifth unit. So this is the area where the consumer will stop consuming, because here the utility what this person is receiving, that is 0. Why I made you to do? See how to find out the marginal utility? How to find out? Roseanne? Roseanne?
Ma'am, the
Ha.
difference.
What is that?
The difference.
Louder. How to find out? Abhilash?
Yes, ma'am. It will be marginal utility will be equal to total utility of the nth term
Yeah,
minus
total utility of nth term minus TU n
n
minus
1.
1. Okay. So here, if it is, if you want to find out the fourth unit, how will you do that? What is the total utility there? Fourth one. Abhilash. 50. Okay, so that this is considered as the Tn. Now n minus 1 just above that. What is that?
46.
46. Now those who don't know that, for them I am talking. Okay, so the utility will be, marginal utility will be 4. All of you got? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just wait. Now next, just wait 1 minute. Demand curve, that is, demand curve is a graphic representation. How I showed you before the graphic representation of total utility, marginal utility. The same way, demand curve is a graphic representation of various quantities of commodity that a consumer is willing to buy at different prices of the same commodity. Okay, same commodity. Keep it in your mind, same commodity, while holding constant prices of other related commodities and income of consumer. What do you mean by this? While holding constant prices of other related commodities and income of consumer? Can anyone think of what it is? What do you mean by while holding constant prices of other related commodities and income of consumer? What do you feel? While holding means what?
Taking into consideration.
By taking into consideration. But what is the speciality of that particular prices and income? It remains?
The same.
It remains constant. Okay, so that means the prices of substitutes, income of the consumer is not changing. That situation, we are keeping an assumption here. We are having an assumption here. The prices of other substitutes, prices of other goods are not changing. At the same time, income of the consumer is also not changing. In that, during that time, how much a consumer will demand or buy at different prices of the same commodity, that if when they represent that in the graphical, when we represent that in through a graph, that we call it as a demand curve. Okay, once more I am reading. Demand curve is a graphic presentation. What they are presenting there, various quantities of commodity that a consumer is willing to buy at different prices of the same commodity, and what they are keeping in constant, what it is constant there, at constant prices of other related commodities and income of the consumer. Now, why we say it is constant, prices should be constant. For example, as you said before, Kannan Devan and Red Label. Okay, now we are taking that Kannan Devan is the consumption of consumption by the consumer, this particular commodity. So when we are consuming Kannan Devan, if the price is reduced for this, there is a chance that the person will switch over to red label, right? Yes or no? Okay, so that should not happen. Why that should not happen? Then our demand curve we cannot find the demand curve. So we are assuming that prices of other commodities, related commodities, are constant. There is no change in that. At the same time, income of the consumer is not increasing or decreasing. Now listen, if the income of the consumer is increasing, what will happen? How it affects demand curve? If the income is increasing, think. Can anyone say? On your videos, everyone, fast.
Price of
Now, what is it?
price of commodities will increase.
Price of, no. I am not asking. We are talking about the demand. Okay. So income, consumer started getting more money in his hand. So, what will happen?
And will increase.
What will increase?
And
No. See, for example, he was consuming. I told that we are taking about Kannan Devan, right? His income increased in a very a very good manner, a good hike he got. So, when we get a good income in our hand, what we will do? Tell someone, if you have good income, what you will
We'll buy
do?
better things.
You will buy better things. That means if it is related to this tea powder, what we will do?
Buy the more expensive one.
More expensive product of this tea powder we may buy, or more costlier one we may buy. Okay, so that should not happen. So in that case also, demand curve will not work for this. Okay, so two things we are assuming: what? Constant prices of other related commodities and income of the consumer, that remains same. There is no change in that. Now, this is a demand curve, what representation they have given. Here, this horizontal axis we are representing quantity. Price is measured on the vertical axis. Okay. Now, as you can see that at rupees 10, what is the quantity demanded here? How much quantity is demanded? How much? Yes. Nobody can see how much quantity is
55.
demanded? 55.
55.
Okay. Now price is increased to 20. So what is that now? What happened? What happened to the quantity demanded?
30.
It has reduced to 30. As it is, again, if it is increased to 30, prices has gone to 30. What happened to the quantity?
15.
15. The prices at 40 rupees, what happened?
5.
Only 5. So it shows that price and the quantity demanded, what kind of relation it has? It has a direct relation or inverse relation. It has a positive or negative relation. What kind of relation it has?
Inverse.
Inverse relation or a negative relation. For example, the price was 40. That time we are using only 5 units of whatever the quantity. When the price is reduced, we are using 15. That means we have increased now our demand. When the price is reduced to 20, what happened? Again, we have increased our quantity demanded. Then again, when it is reduced to 10, the quantity demanded is increasing here. So as the price is reducing, the quantity demanded will increase or decrease. How it is? It will. Akshay, what happens to the quantity demanded when the price decreases? Akshay,
Uh,
it?
the quantity will, the demand will increase.
The demand will increase. Okay, quantity demanded will increase. As the price is reducing, the quantity demanded will increase. So we can see a curve. It is like sloping downwards. The curve is demand curve is sloping downwards. That kind of shape you will get for the demand curve. Okay. Now, so there is a negative relationship between the price of a commodity and the quantity demanded. That law we call it as a law of demand. So what is law of demand? There is a negative relationship between price of a commodity and the quantity demanded. That means as the price increases, the quantity demanded will be less. As the price decreases, the quantity demanded will be more. That law we call it as a law of demand. Got it, everyone? So it has a downward sloping demand curve. And that has, this idea has come from law of diminishing marginal utility. As we consume more and more, the satisfaction will be less here. Or we say because of law of diminishing marginal utility only, demand curve have a negative slope. For example, as you consume more and more, when you buy the next unit, are you ready to pay more money or less money? Just listen the question. You have consumed 10 units of chocolate. Okay. Now you are satisfied here and you want to buy 11th one. So when you are going to buy the 11th one, what do you expect? You feel that that should be available at a lower price. Or think chocolate, or we know that it is a fixed price. You take a mango. Okay. You are you are getting mangoes. You started eating that. You consumed 5 units of mango and you have 5th unit of mango. You paid 40 rupees. Okay. Now you are going to take a 6th unit, but you don't want actually. But if the shopkeeper gives you at 30 rupees, then there is a chance that you may take it. Okay. So as the quantity you consume more and more, the utility what you are getting, is it increasing or decreasing? Is it increasing or decreasing? Nobody is having the answer, right?
And total utility will increase.
No, no, total utility I'm not asking. The utility, you think of utility. As you consume more and more, the utility what you receive, that will increase or decrease. The satisfaction, you don't think in terms of utility, then the satisfaction what you receive, that will be increasing or decreasing.
Decreasing.
It will be decreasing. Okay, as for example, that is what I told. As you consume first mango, you are having satisfaction. Second mango, you are happy. Third mango, you are happy. But then successive units, the utility what you receive, it goes on reducing, or the satisfaction what you get, that goes on reducing. So if when the satisfaction is reducing, you won't prefer to buy that mangoes at a high price. If they are giving at a low price, then there is a chance that you may buy that. So that same law has applied here in the law of demand. Once more, listen. Whenever we start consuming, for example, I told that is related to mangoes. Okay, first unit, second unit, third mango, 3 mangoes you have consumed. Now, 4th mango is also available. You think that 4th mango the consumer has bought at rupees 40 rupees. Okay. Now at 40 rupees he consumed, he bought that. Now he doesn't want actually more mangoes because already he is satisfied. But if the shopkeeper says that, okay, he will reduce that particular price and give, then he may reduce what is that? He may reduce that 30 rupees or anything. You may buy one more because you may get little more utility or satisfaction from that. Okay. So this law of demand works on the basis of law of diminishing marginal utility, or law of diminishing marginal utility is the basis of law of demand curve, or from that idea only we have taken the law of demand here. Okay. Now law of diminishing marginal utility states that each successive unit of a commodity provide lower marginal utility. So the individual will not be willing to pay as much for each additional unit, and this results in downward sloping demand curve. Why the demand curve is having a particular shape like this? This is what they have given. At high price, the quantity demanded will be less. At low price, the quantity demanded will be more. So this, why it is like that? Because individual will not be willing to pay as much for the additional unit, and this result in downward sloping demand curve. Got it, all of you? Yes or no? Any doubt is there? Tell, related to this. Do you have any doubt? Just see the graph, law of demand curve or law of demand, how it works. The same thing. Otherwise, if you're getting confused, you keep it in your mind that as the price is very high, the quantity demanded will be very less. As the price is reducing, the quantity demanded will be more. Here at 10 rupees, the quantity is going on increasing. Okay. Now, what is the basis of this downward demand curve or downward sloping demand curve? Which theory is the basis for this? Vinay, can you tell? Which theory is the basis for downward sloping demand curve? Vinay.
Law of diminishing marginal utility.
Law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, at least you keep these things in your mind. What do you mean by law of demand curve or law of demand? What is the shape of demand curve and why is it downward sloping curve? Why? What is the reason for that? Okay. Now, shall we start the seminar? Yes? Two are there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Nestle and what is the other one?
Aparna.
Aparna. What about the first one? Abdul Aman did, right?
Ma'am, everyone else did.
Okay, okay. No, I didn't mark for Abdul Aman, I feel. Okay.
Ma'am, can I start?
Yes, Aparna can start now.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you see the slide?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, hi everyone. I'm going to present a seminar on microeconomics and macroeconomics. So, I'll give a brief introduction on that. Before 1930, there was only one economics, that is economics, and Regner coined the words micro and macro. It was in 1933 to denote the two branches of economic theory, namely microeconomics and macroeconomics. So that's how the names came. He is Regner. There's a picture of him. So telling about microeconomics, the word micro is derived from the Greek word mikros, meaning small. And microeconomics deals with small segments of the society, I can tell. So the original definition, we can tell it as microeconomics is defined as the study of behavior of individual. of decision-making units, such as consumers, resource owners, and firms. It is also known as price theory. It's the another name for we can tell it is the another name for microeconomics, that is price theory, since its major subject matter deals with the determination price of commodities and factors. And microeconomics has both theoretical and practical importance. It solves the three main central problems of an economy, that is what, how, and for whom to produce. Now coming to macro. The word macro is derived from the Greek word macros. Its meaning is large. It deals with aggregative economics. It is defined as the study of overall economic phenomena such as problem of full employment, aggregate consumption, aggregate investment, economic growth, etc. It is also known as its other name is theory of income and employment, since its major subject matter deals with the determination of income and employment. The study of macroeconomics is used to solve many problems in the economy, like economic fluctuations and general unemployment, inflation, in the balance of payment position, etc. Now coming to difference between micro and macroeconomics, it is this one. So basically I have shown the definition of both micro and macroeconomics. I'll tell it again. Microeconomics, that is that part of economic theory which studies the behavior of individual units of an economy, and macroeconomics is that part of economic theory which studies the behavior of aggregate of the economy in a whole part. And for the tool of analysis of microeconomics, we use demand and supply. And for macroeconomics, it's aggregate demand and aggregate supply. And the main objective of micro and macro are shown here. It aims to determine price of a commodity or factors of production. And in macroeconomics, it aims to determine the income and employment level of the economy. And its basic assumptions of microeconomics is that it assumes all the macro variables to be constant. That is, it assumes that national income, consumption, saving, and all that are constant. And coming to macro, it just assumes that all the micro variables like prices of individual products, etc., all that are constant. And it is also known as price theory. Microeconomics is also known as price theory, and macroeconomics, it is also known as income and employment theory. For example, for microeconomics, individual demand on firms' output, and for macroeconomics, the examples that I can give is that national output and national income. And